This is 1480 KRAE Cheyenne. What you are about to hear is a sports talk radio show unlike any other that has ever before been broadcast in the capital city of Cheyenne, Wyoming, USA. This is Cheyenne, Wyoming's Sports Talk Authority. The Wyoming Cowboys, the Denver Broncos, the Colorado Rockies, and the Denver Nuggets. The show is local, it's regional, and yes, the show is national as well. Wyoming Sports Talk Today is on the air. If they're talking sports on the radio in Cheyenne, this is the place it happens. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today.
Welcome to Wyoming Sports Talk Today, being brought to you by Taco John's of Cheyenne. Again, Taco John's, hey, they are rebuilding the South Greeley Highway facility, so you can check out the Taco John's food van, now available over on the South Greeley Highway. So again, you don't have to go without Taco John's or Southsider. It's there for you. Again, Taco John's of Cheyenne, congratulations on 50 years. Looking forward to the next 50 years as Taco John's again brings us delicious eats, treats, including their sirloin steak burrito. Jolly Rogers RV Sales and Service over on Highway 30, your exclusive home for Jayco. RVs, fifth wheels, travel trailers, and again, great financing packages in place, as well as great prices, as always, from Jolly Rogers RV Sales and Service. Chick-fil-A at the corner of Windmill and Del Range. Now again, Rick and Cindy put out a great spread when they come and cater. So again, go to CheyenneChicken.com. Whether you do a breakfast cater out, lunch, or dinner, they're there for you. And again, they're open 6 days a week, Monday through Saturday, right across from Powers Field and Menards. You enjoy their breakfast, their lunch, and their dinner. They got some new specialties on the menu, too, here for a limited time. So check out what they got for you over at Chick-fil-A, corner of Windmill and Del Range. Kia of Cheyenne over on Nation Way. The 19s absolutely looking wonderful. And the big hitter this year, yes, the Telluride SUV. You want to take a test drive? See my good friend AJ and the gang today over at Kia of Cheyenne over on Nation Way. Platte Valley Bank ×2. Banking done the old-fashioned way, done the high-technology way, done everything in between, including check out their HELOC loans right now. Again, if you're looking for that summer project around your home, maybe you want to do the remodeling thing, maybe you got a few bills you want to take care of, talk to Platte Valley Bank about their special HELOC on Vanda High and again over at the corner of College and Pershing. Medicap Pharmacy for all your pharmaceutical needs next door to Texas Roadhouse. Shop inside. Use the convenient drive-thru. They're there for you, Gene and the gang. Monday through Saturday, not their first rodeo. They've been there for a long time on Bluegrass Circle. Lennox Auto Body and the Auto Glass and Detail Center. The Auto Body Shop over on Dunn Avenue. The Auto Glass and Detail Center over on Pershing Boulevard. Family-owned, family-operated for a quarter century. And again, Lennox Auto Body is here for you today. Dick Lennox founded it. Tradition carried on by his daughter, Heather. First Tier Bank over at 1508 Stillwater Avenue. Again, open Monday through Friday. They are offering some great CD rates, especially on their 27-month CD. How about a 3.1 annual percentage yield? Talk with our good friends today over at First Tier Bank. Across the street, enjoy Paisan cuisine at its best. Not at its finest, at its best. Joe Mondello's been at this for a long time here in Cheyenne. He brought his East Coast recipes into Cheyenne, and they have been a hit. That includes the pizza. That includes the stromboli, the calzones, and, of course, their delicious sandwiches. Always on fresh baked bread. All ingredients fresh, always delicious. That's why the reputation of Mondello's Pizzeria is still high and far above the rest. Mondello's Pizzeria, 1507 Stillwater Avenue, Suite D in the Greenway Commons. And we get things underway. It's our scoreboard, and it's brought to you by Pepsi of Cheyenne. We go first to Nick.
Local baseball from earlier this morning, including both Cheyenne Post 6 and the Mustangs, but we'll start with the Post 6 Sixers as they are out currently in Omaha, Nebraska. Yesterday, as we mentioned, again, they got a 4-0 victory over the Bozeman Bucks. For today's contest that got underway at 7 a.m. today at Omaha, Nebraska, in the lone game for the Post 6 Sixers today. They took on Bryant, Arkansas, and unfortunately lost that game 2-1. At least that went to extra innings, and again, a walk-off run for Bryant, Arkansas. So with that loss for Post 6, they are 28-12 overall, and again, they will continue as they are in this tournament right now in Omaha, Nebraska. Coming up tomorrow, they will see Creighton Prep. Cheyenne Mustangs, they are in action here in town over at Powers Field earlier this morning. 8 a.m. is when this game got underway as they're competing in the Northern Colorado, at least border war here in town at Powers Field. Game 1 of this tournament happening this morning against Fort Collins High, where the Mustangs won that contest 12-2. With that win, they are 11-14 overall, and we'll talk more with manager Sheldon Baxter coming up on today's show. But again, only the lone game for today, a victory for the Cheyenne Mustangs.
Major League Baseball, a couple of matinee performances right now. Rockies Diamondbacks at Chase. Rockies looking for the sweep as the Rocks and the D-backs are tied 1-1, top of the fourth inning. Final already in. Rangers at Globe Life have defeated the Indians 4-2. Games getting underway when we get out of here at 5 o'clock today. Astros and the Yankees in the Bronx. That ought to be a good one. Phillies and the Nationals at Nats Park. It will be the Angels Blue Jays in the Rogers Center. Marlins Cardinals at Busch. Reds Brewers at Miller Park. Mets Cubs at Wrigley. Twins Royals at Kauffman Stadium. Rays and the Athletics in the Oakland Coliseum. At Dodger Stadium tonight, it will be the Giants and the Dodgers with Mad Bum. Maybe he might be auditioning for the Dodgers. Who knows? Against Julio Urias. And the 8 o'clock game as well in Seattle. The M's will be hosting the Baltimore Orioles. And don't forget, it's also draft day beginning with the NBA. I do believe it's at 6 p.m. this evening, the NBA draft. And, of course, some trades have been going on and people moving up the ladder and all that other good stuff. So we'll hopefully have some more here before draft day officially gets underway. Our scoreboard is brought to you by Pepsi of Cheyenne.
Yo, this is your cup holder talking. You know me, the little round thing between your car seats. Now, listen, we need to talk. Now, I normally have a nice cold bottle of Mountain Dew in me, but at the moment, I'm empty. That's right, no Mountain Dew. Nothing in here but a couple of quarters and a dime. A fully capable cup holder like me just carrying your loose change, it's embarrassing. Look, I'm not made for loose change. I'm round like a bottle of Mountain Dew. Glistening, cold, and delicious. I'm made to keep Mountain Dew within reach at all times, so you're never far from that incredible bold citrus kick whenever you need it. Just inches from your hand. So find a store already, grab some Dew, toss it back, then place that bottle where it belongs, and put that loose change back in your pocket. Mountain Dew. Do the do.
Right now it's time to head over to Jolly Rogers RV Sales, Parts, and Service for low prices on outstanding RVs in Wyoming. Your local, exclusive Jayco dealer wants you to check out their closeout deals as well as their 2019 inventory of trailers, fifth wheels, and toy haulers. You can save up to 30% on select models with approved credit. You can find them at 6102 East Highway 30. Jolly Rogers RV Sales, Parts, and Service is a proud sponsor of LCCC men's and women's basketball, also our local high school teams too. First Tier Bank strives to remain competitive and offers some of the best CD rates in the community as well as area banks and credit unions per Rate Watch reports. How does that make a difference to you? First Tier Bank can assist you in securing some of the best rates on CDs. First Tier Bank offers the personalized customer service you've grown accustomed to and deserve. Plus, feel confident that your finances are taken care of by a responsible, knowledgeable staff. Call 307-632-3500 and ask for Caitlin or Debbie. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Taco John's presents Olay the Day Pep Talks.
Human history has shown anything is possible with inspiration and hard work. The 4-minute mile, a man on the moon, a water skiing squirrel, and now sirloin steak burritos from Taco John's.
Sirloin steak burritos are back at Taco John's. Stuffed with hand-carved sirloin steak and bold flavors like the melty, savory grilled cheese steak burrito, plus steak and shrimp or steak and potato olays. And for the morning, 2 steak and egg breakfast burritos. Sirloin steak burritos are back, but only for a limited time. Olay the day at Taco John's.
Your locally owned and operated radio stations, KYOI-FM and 1480 KRAE AM, are just that, local. Serving Cheyenne and Laramie County, where your advertising dollar stays local too. It doesn't end up in Colorado, Oklahoma, New Hampshire, or even New York. We conduct business here. We shop here, and we live here. And we support our entire community 24/7, 365. Just because it has a window dressing doesn't mean it isn't a facade. A reminder from KYOI and 1480 KRAE.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 KRAE.
For today, it will be sunny with a chance of thunderstorms this afternoon with highs around 75. For tonight, it'll be cloudy with rain showers likely with lows around 46. On Friday, it'll be mostly cloudy with rain showers likely with highs around 61. And on Friday night, it'll be cloudy with rain showers likely with lows around 39.
You're listening to Cheyenne's new Sports Talk Authority. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today on AM 1480 KRAE.
It is a Thursday afternoon, Wyoming Sports Talk today. I almost said a Thursday morning pro shop because I'm taking the day off tomorrow over on our FM side. So here we are, and yesterday we wrapped up a little early, so we're going to be here doing the full 2 hours today. So we're talking first with Brian Ortmeier, head coach of the LCCC Lady Golden Eagles, 4th season, and 4th recruiting class for you, Coach. So let me, before we get into the recruits, and Nick could probably get more in depth on that, is the recruiting portion of the program getting a little easier for your program at LCCC?
Sure. Before I answer that, it's great to be back on the show. It's been a while since I've seen you guys, so thanks for having me in today. But no, on the recruiting side of things, there's no question. It's definitely getting to the point now where you kind of have an idea of where you can go to find good athletes. We kind of dabbled a little bit into the international market this year, so we'll have a little bit of international flavor next year as well. But again, you get familiar with certain AAU programs in this area, different high schools that typically will produce really good athletes, and those are the places that we'll go to.
Now, with both you and Jason in place, Jason will be starting his 13th season again. Mm-hmm. You reviving this program and now going into your 4th year, and then there was a lot of changes, coaches leaving or departing for one reason or another. Your situation at LCCC shows probably the most stable, and I could say ECW, over in Torrington as well. But, it sounds like we're more of the stable coaching staffs where you might want to come and play.
Sure, and a lot of that has to do with the school, the institution just being a great place to coach and work at. So again, we get a lot of that stability here in Cheyenne at LCCC, especially with the coaching staff. And it's really amazing to be here for going into my 4th season, and be able to see the program grow from nothing to be able to start from the very beginning. So you're right. You look across our region, and I was telling somebody this about a week ago. It's hard to believe. I think I'm number 3 now out of 8. So 3rd out of 8 in terms of coaches in their tenures in the Region 9 sub-region in the north. So you've got Dwight at Casper yet, and then you've also got Tom at EWC, and then I check in at 3rd. So, but again, it's a great place to be, and it's been fun to go through this experience through the first 3.
I was talking wrestling. I said ECW.
I did catch that
too. Eastern College, Wyoming. I'm having a senior moment. Eastern Wyoming.
Either way
College.
At this point, but again, as you talk about your tenure, again, as we know from Region 9, whether it is north or south, had a few coaching departures, whether it was at Gillette, McCook, but at least show some stability, as he put it, and something that is, great to talk with your recruits' potential, whether it is international or at least looking in kind of local area, whether it's Utah, Colorado, or here in state with at least with Wyoming. But you look at some of these recruits and just going on that recruiting trail for yourself, Coach. We talked about, at least through last season, even kind of the exit interview of last season with you on here, of the history that was made this season of being able to host the first ever playoff game and being able to move on to the second round, which led us to Scottsbluff over at Western Nebraska. Are those kind of hitting, at least talking points with those recruits, whether it is the internationals or the local recruits, of saying, hey, this is where we are. This is how we're developing. Mm-hmm. I want you to at least kind of set, or at least for my expectations, are a little bit higher than is. And I believe that you can be that, at least personnel, to get us to the next level.
It is, and you can look at it from 2 different standpoints. So it's much easier to recruit saying that we'd finished 19-12 as opposed to going the opposite direction. If we'd taken a step back in year 3, it's a much different selling point. And again, it looks like things aren't working in terms of how we're trying to progress and grow the program. So that's the first way you can look at it. The second way I always try to, when I sit down and I'm talking to recruits, is our expectation next year is semifinals, if not further. And that's our next progression in terms of, stepping from new program to 500 to almost 20 wins this year, quarterfinals semifinals is that next step, and hopefully we can get into that championship game too. And we're going to make that known from day one when the kids get on campus. That's our expectation. And in the past, I've kind of tried to maybe step a little away from that so you don't put too much pressure on the kids. But we're going to take a little different approach this year. We're really going to try and embrace it and be that team that's sitting on top of the hill. We're real close, and that's what we're striving for. We want to be the team that embraces that and steps up to the challenge instead of always trying to say, well, we're still a couple steps away and we're trying to catch so-and-so and so-and-so at the top. We want to be one of those top dogs, and we're going to try and catch them. Something
that I asked Coach Fickett the last time we were in, at least discussing his new recruits and also to talk about the upcoming season, but I'll ask you the similar question of, obviously you're busy with recruiting, dealing with everything. You got the, kids camp at least upcoming very quickly over there at LCCC. You got a lot going on in your life, but something I asked Coach Fick, and I'll ask you the same thing of, do you take a look at other recruiting classes around Region 9, whether it is in the north or the south, look at who is joining at least new head coaching ranks, whether it is in McCook or Gillette? I mean, how much do you, especially with the beauty of technology, Twitter, all those announcements can be made.
Sure.
Do you find yourself looking at what Casper's picking up, or what is Gillette, what is Rock Springs picking up? Do you find yourself doing that, at least right now?
It's hard not to, especially like you said, with all the social media around yourself, whether it's Twitter or Facebook, whatever it may be. If you follow enough of the right people, it's going to just pop up on a daily basis. So, or if you know enough people in this area, before it got announced that Gillette, that Coach Lewis was taking over, I had received a message from one of my buddies out in a different conference in South Dakota, and he said, hey, do you know anything about this? And she had actually sent out an email to all the coaches out that way, thanking them for the couple of years that she had coached against them. And so, again, you get kind of a heads up on some things before they even happen. So again, you kind of try to figure out who's filling different spots, and again, you can kind of figure and plan to know what they're going to do based on what she's done in the past. And then again, with the different recruiting websites, sometimes it'll pop up. I saw Northwest signed a kid, a foreign player, a couple days ago through the JUCO Advocate site. So it's just, again, it's really tough not to, because there's just so much information. It's going to just kind of trickle in as you're checking around. And again, our league last year had a lot of very talented freshmen. So again, a lot of those same kids will be back. So again, a little bit of you could see kind of a wave of some new players coming in, but there's going to be a lot of familiar faces next year.
I was going to ask you this question, not to toot our own horn, as we're ready to do this again for our third season. And last year we ended up doing 55 games, both men and women, which was, quite a bit on our plate, and we were excited to do that, including your playoff run. We brought last year to the table games on YouTube as well as Periscope via Twitter, and of course, play-by-play. And I think there's maybe a handful of us that are doing play-by-play. Did that also, and again, I'm not trying to toot my horn here, but did that also help in the advancement of recruiting for you? Did you get some young ladies just happened to looky-loo in on our games and said, hey, I like what they're running there at LCCC?
Sure. It's I would say through one person, again, with our international recruits, it's big for them because they can go back and they can watch our games to see what kind of a style we play. So I can tell you right away with Claudia and Anna, they were able to go back and watch. They had asked me, hey, Coach, do you have some links so I can go in and watch your game film? Their person that kind of helped with their recruitment internationally also has sent a lot of players to our league. So again, you can look to Casper
and Torrington.
Yeah. So between Banya and Haskova and their point guard, and then also with Torrington with Abril was also one of his recruits, and then also Salat, the other kind of off-guard point guard. Those are all girls that he has sent over here. So again, for him to be familiar with our program, he had watched us play a couple times versus Casper and versus EWC, so he knew who we were, and he's able to then tell the girls, they're able to compete with these teams. We can see their facility, so you can go back and watch the game film. So for us, it definitely was able to help us on that international scale.
All right, Nick, you're holding in your hands.
Well, again,
let's
Coach at least
open up the envelope, please.
Absolutely, yes. Coach was grateful enough, or at least thank you for sending this over to us again, giving a breakdown of all your recruits. And again, it's 3 pages worth, so at least been busy so far as we got plenty of months at least before the start of the season. But breaking down as we talk about recruits again, you mentioned the 2 internationals from Spain, but looking at it, the few sophomores that we are losing, at least for LCCC, again, Carly O'Brien to replace Kylie Milan, who was at least lone center, the big for LCCC at 6'1", losing Courtney Walker, also to Jessica Stoner. But we'll start with Kylie Milan, where again you had the height with her of 6'1". You found someone to replace that height at 6'1" as well too, coming out of Utah with Abby, and I hope I don't
Garreau.
All right. So, but at least now where something we talked with you a lot, at least throughout last season, where height was an issue, competing with Casper, competing with EWC, whoever it may be throughout Region 9 South or North. Again, height was always a big issue. Well, at least with Abby right now, we address a little bit of that piece where now you have a replacement for Kylie Milan at that same height.
Height and strength, I would say.
Yeah, and that's going to be really important at that 5 spot. So specifically with Abby and Sam Hester, the comparison that I would try to give you guys in terms of the level of play that they've played at in high school, Haley Anderson comes from a 5A school in Utah. And she would have been a first-teamer as a senior. Abby would have been 6A, so it's one classification higher, the biggest that you can play at in Utah. And she made the 3rd team, and Sam made the 1st team. So, again, in terms of talent in Utah, these are 2 of the best players, probably the top 15 players in the state coming out of Utah. So Abby's a tremendous athlete. Again, she was right around 14 points, 11 rebounds a game coming out of high school. I can tell you in terms of just statistics and the classification she played at, that's probably just the best talent standpoint that we've had in our 4 recruiting classes coming in to play the 5, just based on her high school statistics. And again, she had a game high one time this year of 33 points. So I think probably the thing I'm most excited about with her, though, she can run the floor, she can defend, rebound, block shots. Very tough, very physical down on the low block, and really not afraid of contact. So, again, she'll be a good addition. We're going to still look to lean on probably Jakia a little bit at the 5 spot as well, just depending on matchups now. So, again, if we have a monster on the other team that we're getting ready to face, we can, you can throw Abby at them, who's 6'1", or, again, if they're a little smaller, we can also throw Jakia, who's a little quicker and can defend a little quicker off the dribble. So it gives us some different options in terms of how we can play with that 5.
Well, again, looking at Jakia, where her stats put her at 5'9", but looking at some other products that you have, again, addressing the height issue that was, you look at, again, another Utah product, Soraya Jones, I'm assuming, at least hopefully that is correct.
Soraya.
So Soraya, so a 5'10" guard coming out of Roy High School, Roy, Utah, and then also, too, from Fort Collins, Colorado, so at least familiar with the area, familiar with the region.
Yep.
Playing at Fossil Ridge High School, Kaysen Hobbs, she is 5'10", a guard, coming out of Fort Collins, Colorado. So at least, again, addressing more height and, again, more of the local products who understand this region, know the play style, so to speak, and the players as well, too.
And that was one thing that we definitely had to address. It was just getting more physical at the 4 spot and the 5 spot, adding a little height, adding some rebounding. And the really nice thing about players like Kaysen and Soraya, they can stretch the floor and shoot. So, again, they're going to be good on the glass. They're going to be able to play off the dribble and attack the rim. That was really probably Soraya's strong point in high school. Very, very good athlete, very quick in transition. And if she thinks she's got a seam, she's going to finish at the rim. And there's not many people that are going to stop her. So Kaysen, again, is a strong athlete. Great rebounder, very athletic player. And I think kind of one of the unique things about her is on the defensive side of the floor. She's been one of the leaders across all classifications the last 2 years in charges taken in the state of Colorado. So she's not afraid to step up. When somebody's driving down the paint, she'll slide over, she'll take that charge and kind of stick her nose in there. So very, very tough kid. And again, her stats are a little skewed this year, considering she only averaged 6 and 4. She didn't play the first half of the season. She actually had to get surgery I want to say right at the beginning of the summer, and they didn't think she was going to play high school ball this year. They thought she was going to have to sit out all season. She ended up having, I think it was a bone chip that was floating around in her ankle. So they went in and did the surgery. They got the chip out. So then she was basically off her feet for a couple months, and then jumped in and got after it, and they ended up in the Final Four this year. So really was able to come back and compete well for her high school team.
Well, that's good to at least talk about at least the toughness of her, and also where, again, you are losing Carly O'Brien, where she was, again, as small as she was not afraid of anything on that court. So at least as we're talking about replacing some of your sophomores that are graduating, at least seeing this with K-State, again, these bigs that you're getting in there, again, the tough and tenacity, exciting times for LCCC, at least to see what this freshman class is going to be like for the Lady Golden Eagles.
It looks like it's a blue-collar recruiting class that you picked up. And again, Coach, I look at here a lot of guards that you're picking up. But let's talk about what you got coming back. You got Haley Anderson, a starter. You got Jakia Wells, a starter. And then you had some help off the bench. So you're kind of, I don't want to say top-heavy, but right now, looking at this, you got a lot of guards ready to show back up for you as well. And matter of fact, you had one that was injured all season, and last I heard from you, she was coming back as well.
Yeah, we will have a lot of guards, and I think, again, we're going to do our best to take advantage of using as many of them as possible. And I like the pace that we played with at times last year, but going back and really breaking down our statistics and watching a lot of our game film, we still didn't play fast enough. Basically we averaged somewhere right around a little over 70 a game. I think personally we can push it faster. I think a lot of our issues, again, probably started more on the defensive end. You've got to be a good transition team. You've got to be able to get stops, one and done, push the ball out, and do it multiple times back to back to back. If you have to constantly every other possession take the ball out of bounds, you're not going to be able to transition on a team very well. And that's the one thing I give big kudos to a group like EWC. They would do different things to try and frustrate you, to take longer shots, to get that long rebound, instead of letting you get next to the rim. When we made that adjustment the second game and we attacked them more at the rim, they couldn't transition on us. So there's some things that we're going to kind of alter this year and this summer to go into next season, knowing that we've got to just get stronger, we've got to get faster, we've got to be able to maintain that for longer. So we're gonna take advantage of our numbers. And we're going to get to a break here in just a second. Real quick, who will be returning officially for LCCC this season? So we have Haley Anderson, Jakia Wells, Robbie Johnson, Alexis Lamoureux, and Saraven Allen. So we'll have 5 veterans coming back for the program. And again, 2 of those saw significant time, and again, we had 2 of them off the bench that hopefully can contribute a little more next year, with Lex being down in the post and Robbie is a good defensive guard. We didn't really get to see her shooting ability last year because with the broken finger, I think, again, it affected her a little bit down the stretch. So we've got some good veteran talent coming back, but it'll be exciting to see how they all do well together. We're going to take a timeout. We're going to come back and continue our conversation with head coach Brian Ortmeier of the LCCC Lady Golden Eagles after these words right here in 1480 KRAE.
Summer is just beginning, and it's a great time to plan all your home improvement and remodeling projects. This is Lexi.
And this is Aaron from Platte Valley Bank. A home equity line of credit can help finance summer projects, but can also fund summer fun like a boat, ATV, or even a convertible.
Stop in either Cheyenne location and we'll show you the hidden value in your home with a home equity line of credit from Platte Valley Bank.
Platte Valley Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender. Credit subject to approval. Certain restrictions apply.
When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think authentic Italian. When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think made fresh from scratch. When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think great pizza, delicious Philly cheesesteak, superb hot and cold Italian sandwiches, meatballs, sausage, and special subs, calzones, crisp salads, and great service. When you say Mondello's Pizzeria, think unmatched Italian taste. Mondello's Pizzeria, 1507 Stillwater Avenue, your only true Italian stop for lunch or dinner.
For almost 60 years, 1480 KRAE has been Cheyenne's home for good times and great oldies. Add to that live play-by-play sports featuring high school football and basketball, along with LCCC men's and women's basketball. Now combo that with KYOY-FM and you have Cheyenne and the area's only locally owned AM and FM radio stations. But we don't stop there. We also have 2 FM translators which serve the area with programming from both KRAE and KYOY. And that equals a lot of bang for your advertising dollar. Radio yesterday and now today, along with our websites, web streams, and digital ventures makes us your one-stop shop. For more information, information, please call Larry Proetti at 307-637-0301.
Chick-fil-A is a proud supporter of our high school athletes at East, Central, and South. May the school year bring success to all of you. Before you start your day, stop by Chick-fil-A for a hearty, delicious, and satisfying breakfast, only at Windmill and Del Range. Breakfast is served Monday through Saturday from 6 in the morning till 10:30 a.m. Breakfast with Chick-fil-A, the most important meal of the day, at Windmill and Del Range. Check out the huge savings this week at Town & Country Supermarket Liquors. Here are just a few of the terrific weekly specials. Our Super Radio buys heard only right here feature Admiral Nelson Spiced, Cherry Spiced, or Coconut Spiced Rum. 750 milliliter bottle, $5.99. Bud Light Lime or Orange 12-pack, 12-ounce cans, $14.99. And Seagram's Extra Dry Gin, 1.75-liter bottle, $16.99. Town & Country Supermarket Liquors on the South Greeley Highway, Cheyenne's low-price leader.
If you're looking for fun and adventure, Kia of Cheyenne is the place to start, and the 2019 Kia Sorento will help you find it. I'm A.J. Miller, and the 2019 Kia Sorento will give you what you need to make things happen. This vehicle has plenty of power, all-season traction, safety features, technology, and comfort for any road you're on. Kia Sorento offers plenty of standard features for the money, and we're all about saving you money. Come in, call 775-0123, or go to KiaofCheyenne.com, and we'll make it easy.
When it comes to sports talk in Cheyenne, it's a whole new ballgame. Let's play ball! You're listening to Wyoming Sports Talk today, and it's only here on AM 1480 KRAE.
Wyoming Sports Talk today. We are talking with Brian Ortmeier, head coach of the LCCC Lady Golden Eagles. Coach, before we get back into the recruits here, and as I opened up the conversation saying how much recruiting in your fourth season gets a little bit better for you, you looking at the 9 kids that you were able to sign, let me ask you, in your opinion, and I know you probably didn't get everybody on your Christmas wish list, but from what I see signed here and becoming Lady Golden Eagles next season, pretty impressed with what you got.
Yeah, I was pleasantly surprised with how the recruiting went this year. I think, again, the first and foremost, I had 2 big things on the checklist that we needed to make sure that we took care of. Number one was making sure that we had a good presence around the basket with the post, and you can even add to that power forward. And I felt like we went 3 out of 4 on that if you were going to try and make sure that you felt good about 2 posts and 2 power forwards. So, if we decide that the best thing for our team next year is to continue to play Jakia at the 5 spot, which, again, she, outside of maybe 1 or 2 teams in the north, she handled herself really well down there. And again, struggled a little bit with the high-low just because the entry pass typically was easy because we had a 5'6", 5'7" player on their power forward. So being able to switch that a little easier when they screen for each other and they try to pass it to each other, the 4 and 5, I think that would help her also to be able to play that 5 spot even better this year. And she's good around the basket, rebounds well. But again, to go back to the recruiting side of that, again, with Abby and Sarai and Kaysen being able to help Kia down there and Lex, I felt like we did pretty well addressing that. I still would have wished we could have signed another 6'1", 6'2", but again, it played out well that we did sign Abby. The other check mark would have been replacing our point guards. Again, you look at Carly and you look at Gabby. Not only just from a production standpoint, scoring-wise, because, again, Gabby was probably more of a 2-guard playing point guard, and Carly was also probably more of a slasher playing point guard. So I think what we get now with some of these point guards coming in, whether it's Claudia Hernandez, Anna Terron, you've got Jimena Gutierrez, and then even Carly Mathern. I mean, we can look at 4 or 5 people, and, again, if we want to throw Haley into that mix next year, I feel comfortable knowing we have enough people that can take care of the ball, that if we want to be that team that has to just really concern themselves with ball control. Again, I think we were right around 11 turnovers per game this year. I really believe we have the guards that can do that. So But I think on the flip side, some of those are really, really talented passers that we have coming in. So I'm hoping that'll boost up that assist number per game, which again was pretty low the last 2-3 years. And again, it's not necessarily a knock against the point guards we had. They were probably more score first type point guards, where now we've actually got some pass first, and that should hopefully open up some different things offensively for us.
Well, and again, as we break down this recruiting class that you have coming in for this season, again, we talked about the height that you will have, again, with the 6'1" center of Abby out of Utah. Again, you got 2 5'10" guards, or at least forwards, one from Fort Collins, again, the other one from Utah. As we break down even further, at least down the height chart for LCCC of what your recruits are, again, as we kind of broke down and kind of kid around with you, you went back to Utah again, and you got another Utah product this time as well, as you mentioned with Abby, again, out of 6A class there in Utah. Garreau, yeah. So
Garreau.
Alexis Lamoureux. So at least that's going to be a nice,
Garreau Lamoureux. Hey, I'm already on this, Coach. We're ready to go.
But again, going back to at least to the Utah products that you brought in, again, obviously they've certainly panned out for LCCC, obviously with Haley Anderson and what she did in her freshman year, just phenomenal of just being a key piece for LCCC. But we look at Sam Hester, 5'9" guard out of Westlake High School, Saratoga Springs, Utah, at least 6A All-State girls basketball first team. So where you talk about with Abby making at least on the third team, now you have a first team product coming to LCCC from the state of Utah.
And her game's very similar to Haley's in terms of the way that they shoot the ball. She's very good about picking her spots, when to attack the rim and when not to. And then kind of and very comparable again to Haley. She's just kind of sneaky when she's able to go out and get steals. And again, she was one of the top steal producers in the state of Utah last year with 65 total. So again, she's just very deceivingly long. Again, she's able to kind of play in a gap. They think it's an easy pass to the wing, and she's able to step out and get that deflection. So, again, a good, talented defender, but I would compare her game pretty similar to how Haley plays.
Perfect. So at least where we're losing, with Carly, where she was kind of at least had that deception about her again with the steal. So at least replacing that in some aspect with Sam. Now, as we go down the at least high chart, looking at your 5'8" products, where you do have a few, at least 2 of them. One coming, at least another local product, at least just down the road in Windsor, Colorado, from Windsor High School. Carly, as you've been talking about, she's 5'8" down there. At least looking at first team Tri-Valley League All-Conference team, a member of that. And then also, too, we'll break down your at least another product down in Colorado, Glenwood Springs, Eczema or
Jimena.
Okay,
Jimena.
Sorry.
Yep.
Jimena Gutierrez, 5'8" guard out of Glenwood Springs High School, 4A WSL Player of the Year for the 18-19 season. So just give us a little, at least, insight on your Colorado products there at 5'8".
Sure. I think the thing I like about these two is their toughness. I'm going to start right there. Jimena was kind of a player we jumped on late. I felt like she was really underlooked coming out of Glenwood Springs, being on the western slope a little bit. Was able to kind of catch her in the playoffs and then in a couple all-star games as well, really, really late in the recruiting process. And, again, she in the all-star game, she took a charge. She's diving on the floor, just really fearless down the lane when she's attacking the rim. And, again, I think when you look at her, it's not necessarily always looking at points per game every kid. Almost 6 rebounds a game coming from a point guard position. And then again, also right around 4 assists and then 4 steals per game. So she's very versatile in what she can do.
She hauls down boards, and she looks like she's a physical player.
She's a dual sport athlete, and her other sport in high school is rugby. All
right, so she's got toughness.
Yeah, so she's got a little bit of toughness in her. And so, again, she's just kind of that gritty player that can hopefully give us that spark plug, whether it's in the starting lineup or off the bench. So, and then you get to Carly Mathern, kind of the same thing. Just a very good defensive player. She kind of burst onto the scene this season. She would have been the 6th man for Windsor High School 2 years ago. Ended up getting into the starting lineup this year and excelled. And she's, again, another one of those kids that very easily can be a double-double kid, whether she's playing shooting guard, 3-guard, point guard. She can do a little bit of everything, and for most of the season, she was shooting it right around 50% from 3. So very solid in terms of her outside game, and just great at picking her spots, too. She can attack off the dribble, get to the rim, and finish.
So I look at the 2 young ladies from Spain, And I see one that has a lot of likeness to the one that we were talking about at Eastern Wyoming College in Torrington, Claudia Hernandez, who is 5'7". She, to me, just looking at the photo, she's one that's going to be that slasher. I think she's going to be your Carly O'Brien replacement. Correct me if I'm wrong. And then also I see with Anna, is it Terron?
Yes.
See, you want me to go with the names here. Anyway.
Try and pronounce his hometown.
She's 5'7", but tell us a little bit about her strength. I guess both the young ladies.
Sure.
Tell us about their strengths.
So, again, going back to the comparison game, and Danielle Montalou, again, which is the foreign recruitment person that I've been talking to and with both girls. So his comparison to Claudia, and I think this is a really fair comparison, is like you said. She plays a lot like the point guard that was at EWC last year. Very, very quick off the dribble, can make passes that a lot of players can't make. She just sees things well, has good vision. I would say the one thing based off my evaluation, I feel like she shoots it a lot better from outside. So there's some things defensively we'll work with her with, but in terms of just being a pure floor general, can pass the ball, she's a very, very skilled offensive player. Anna, on the other hand, again, good passer, probably a little more of a scorer from outside. And again, good off the dribble, good passer. I think, again, probably a better defender out of the two. And the comparison he made with Anna was probably more close to what Casper had this year with their foreign point guard. I think it was Ferrer was her.
Right. Yeah.
So that was his comparison to Anna. She's a little more of a scorer, where Claudia is going to be a little more of a player that could maybe get a little out of control at times. But again, it's because she's trying to make a pass that nobody else can make. So they both kind of bring a little different.
Have you seen film on both of these young ladies?
Yeah.
And do they remind you? Are they atypical of the European style that we've seen,
Sure.
Throughout the Region 9 North and South?
Yeah, I would definitely say they fit that mold pretty well. And, just even looking at some different recruiting things today, I kind of had to remind myself that when you look at our region team last year, just even with the North, 7 out of the 10 players were international players. The only ones that weren't were Maggie Justinak, who was at Casper, Gabby O'Connor, who played for us, and then there was a third one, I'm forgetting all of a sudden, but so 3 out of the 10 essentially were international players, and a lot of these kind of come from the same umbrella of essentially what is this Spain recruiting service. So it's going to be fun to see what they can bring to the table. I think, again, with the style that we want to continue to move toward, they're going to fit really well.
A little international flair coming to Cheyenne. Hopefully they realize that the weather might be a little interesting compared to Spain, but other than that,
altitude too.
It's going to be a few bit of issues, but I think they'll adjust just fine, as we've seen on the guys' side. Again, those players, they essentially kind of suck it up at this point in time, but neither here nor there. But wrapping up the recruiting class so far for LCCC, we'll at least finish on a local product, at least here in the state of Wyoming, Farson, Wyoming, coming out of Farson Eden High School. Maisie Thorne, 5'6" guard, where she was a part of the 1A Wyoming All-State team, averaging 14.7 points per game. So wrapping up at least recruiting class with Maisie, again, a local Wyoming product coming to LCCC.
Sure, and Maisie's just a bulldog. I mean, she's going to work hard. She's going to get after it. And, again, very versatile in terms of being able to score the ball, dish out assists, get steals, and right around 10 rebounds a game. So just a good overall athlete coming from Farson. And we're really excited to have her. I think, again, she can bring a lot of just kind of her maybe small-town work ethic to the table, and it just be a good player for us.
We were talking off-air during the commercial break, and not so much making light, but looking at this group of kids and the group that you got coming back. And, again, they can pick them up and put them down. So I threw out the old Paul Westhead Loyola Marymount team where this was run and gun. Mm-hmm. So, and, again, what you are looking for is that quickness out of the transition. You're hoping teams can do that one and done, where last year they were getting 2 and maybe 3 extra chances just because they had height advantage. But my point is this what you're looking for? This team, because you said you scored 70 points, you're looking to amp that up by about 10, maybe 15 points. Is this the team that can be that run and gunner?
I really believe so. And the thing again is they've got to be able to commit to defense first. I know we're talking offense, but the defense will ultimately spark a good offensive transition team. So, I mean, you hit it on the head exactly right. If we're able to be one and done, get that stop, and then again have that speed on the outside to get out and push the basketball. Those were our best games last year. Those were those games where we hit 85, 90 points and did it with pretty relative ease. So, again, the games where we got stuck in more of a half court, slow it down, those were the games where we ran into some struggles in terms of being able to transition. So, again, that's going to be our focus in the preseason, is just building up that endurance to run for 40 minutes.
Something that I want to ask you and ask Coach Fick as well, but as you talked and alluded of what you were doing in the offseason, obviously busy with recruiting. Again, we'll get to the summer camp as well, to promote that, as that's upcoming at LCCC. But, you know, as we break down and you look at the recruiting classes, the coaching moves, who's moving in and out of these respectable schools, especially in Region 9 North, in your opinion, what teams are kind of spotlighting, or at least on your radar right now, of where, you know, LCCC, as we're trying to get involved up in that Region 9 North, if not the entire Region 9, who's kind of on your radar right now that, they might pose a little difficulty, at least throughout the season?
Sure. I think obviously the returning champ is going to be a good team across the board. You've got, you know, a team like Casper that brings back the majority of their lineup. They obviously have to replace some things in the post, but again, they bring back a lot of talented guards. I know EWC graduated a lot of kids, but at the same time, I want to say they've got 7 or 8 international players coming in for next year too. So it'll be interesting to kind of see how they mesh and come together. And I think just across the board, you've got a lot of coaches now in their second year between Central and Northwest. You've got a couple of us, again, that have been around a little while, whether it's myself or, you know, Coach Davis at Sheridan, that now we're kind of trying to catch the top 2. So I think from top to bottom, I think you're going to see a lot of programs take another step forward. I think it's going to be even a more competitive across the board next year. I know it came down to the wire where we had 4 teams in that last week that could have finished anywhere from 2 to 5. And I think, again, it's going to be a dogfight to finish in that pack. So it's been an interesting offseason. I think, again, we've got a lot of good coaches in our league, and they understand kind of what it takes to build good programs, and it'll be a fun region season to watch next year.
Now, in addition to recruiting, you also got to get scheduling underway, and of course, we know there's home and homes with your northern teams.
We know there's a Phoenix trip in there too.
There is,
which definitely I know that would pick us. But realistically, yeah, why not? Why can't we go?
Yeah,
I think we definitely need to go. We need to get out of here.
Oh, you're talking about the Phoenix?
Yeah.
I mean, we got into McCook. You know, Phoenix is
sure. You put us in McCook for 2 seasons. I think we deserve Phoenix.
That is true. That probably would be a better trade-off. And hey, and I'm from Nebraska, and I'm still. I have to agree with you. Yeah. I can't feel too sorry for McCook, but. No, we could probably work some kind of trade-off where we can get you, maybe slip you guys down to Phoenix, and we'll figure something out.
All right, but anyway, looking at has preseason non-conference games been kind of set up already by you, or are you still patching some holes in the schedule?
We've got basically one game we've got to fill, and we had to move it around with the coaching changes that happened between Gillette and McCook. We ended up basically losing 3 classics between those 3 because with coaches coming in, other coaches taking over the scheduling, one had too many teams booked. Another one of them had basically scheduled 2 teams that got their conference schedules out of Kansas and then had to rearrange because they were double. They had basically games for the same weekend. They had a league game, so they had to drop out of the Classic. So we had to do some late shuffling in terms of picking some up, going to some different locations. So, again, we're looking at a trip to Phoenix next year, and we're also looking at a trip to Kansas, Western Kansas, for a couple games. And of course, we'll have our Classic here at LCCC. So I feel like we've got pretty good balance. We've got a lot of weekend games just based on how the schedule lays out. We get more or less an extra weekend in the preseason just based on when the first weekend happens in November. So we were able to stay away from a lot of weekday games, which should help the kids in the classroom too. I think we we've got 2 Tuesday games, and one's at home and one's on the road. So it sets up pretty favorably for us. I think it's a good schedule. We don't have any JV. We don't have any all-star teams. It's all JCs across the board next year. So it'll be a good challenge for us. And again, it's outside of just getting one game filled in with a coach. That's pretty much the last thing we have to set.
So no makeup with Adams State Junior Varsity, at least from last year. That got snowed out.
No.
The fun road trip to Alamosa.
Let me ask this question of you two. Again, in addition to our northern, and you still have your southern Region 9, how tough is it to schedule games? Again, it's not like, and I'm just going to pick on left coast because being from the left coast, Los Medanos Junior College or Butte College or Taft College,
Sure.
They're not on the horn saying, hey, we want to have a game, we'll travel out to your place, or we'll do a home and home with you,
Sure.
like they do in the four-year schools. How tough is it to schedule non-conference?
It's been good. Most teams are pretty receptive. A lot of our South schools are really great about getting a home and home.
But it's all just around this region, though, right?
Sure, but you will run into some schools that they'll reach out to you in year one, but they won't reach out to you in year 4. So that having a good season last year does make it a little tougher to get teams specifically to travel to Cheyenne, where you have the elevation. You have, I feel like we have a great home court advantage just because it's close quarters in the rack, and so it does give us an advantage at home, and I think that does give us just a few challenges in terms of how we can get some teams up for non-conference. But like I said, our region's been relatively great about it, making sure that we get that home and home, and again, it's better for our kids. They don't have to travel quite as far. But for us, it's great to stay close, but it's also nice to take some of those different trips, see some different teams, be able to work in a little balance too.
Kind of test out your team, so to speak,
Yeah.
at least in the upcoming season.
Sure.
As we wrap up things here, and again, appreciate you joining us here today, Brian. Again, always a pleasure talking LCCC women's basketball as we get closer to 2019-2020 LCCC Lady Golden Eagles basketball. Coming up here in a few short days, I do believe 4 days from now, over at the Rack here in town. You, along with also too, Coach Jason Ficka with the men's side of things, you got a special camp coming up for the summertime for the little ones here in town, or if not around the area, to come out and learn some basketball.
We do. We have our 4-day camp, which goes from June 24th through the 27th up at the Rack. We have 2 sessions. So, again, the morning session on the girls' side is for ages 6 to 9, and will run from 9 to noon. And again, that's for 4 days. And then our afternoon session will run from 1 to 4 p.m., and that is for girls ages 10 to 13. We do accept walk-ons, walk-ups, or walk-ons, whichever.
Yeah. You're always looking for talent. Yeah.
So again, on the day of or the morning of, if somebody hasn't signed up to that point, if they want to come up and fill out a waiver and also sign up for the camp, they're more than welcome to. It's $125 for the 4-day camp. And again, they get a chance to work with our student athletes. A couple we'll have on hand to be able to work with them in the drills and some of the skill work. And we'll do games and have contests and all that fun stuff too. So it's a great experience for both our student athletes and also for the campers. It'll be a lot of fun.
Again, more information, go to golccc.com. Under the main menu, you go to camps. There it is at the summer basketball camp. You click on that link, and more information and everything that you need to know is right there on that webpage.
And how are we looking so far for campers?
We've got a pretty good turnout. We have a better turnout for our afternoon session. So again, we've got plenty of spots available. And then again, I also forgot to mention that runs at the same time as our boys camp too. So whether you're boy, girl, want to come out to a camp next week, make sure you get signed up, and we'd love to have you out.
Or how Coach Ficka kind of at least pleasantly talks about it of, hey, if you want to just dump off the kids, you want them out of your hair for the summer, there you go. There's a reason.
That's true. I guess it works both ways. I'm sure there's a couple parents that kind of want to boot the kids out of the house at this point.
Hey, you're a parent. You know what it's all about, right? You have no problem taking care of kids.
That's true. I've got a 3-year-old, so I feel like I'm well equipped to handle anything at this point.
All right. Brian, thanks so much. It's always a pleasure talking to you. As Nick mentioned, we will be chatting with you again up until the season gets underway in November. Looking forward to that as well. Again, LCCC Lady Golden Eagles basketball under the direction direction of fourth-year head coach Brian Ortmeier. Thank you again for tipping us off to the new recruits that are coming to LCCC in addition to the veterans coming back. We will take a timeout, get ready to slip into the 4 o'clock hour. Back after these words here at 1480 KRAE.
Taco John's presents Olay the Day Pep Talks.
Human history has shown anything is possible with inspiration and hard work. The 4-minute mile, a man on the moon, a water skiing squirrel, and now sirloin steak burritos from Taco John's.
Sirloin steak burritos are back at Taco John's. Stuffed with hand-carved sirloin steak and bold flavors like the melty, savory grilled cheese steak burrito, plus steak and shrimp or steak and potato olays. And for the morning, 2 steak and egg breakfast burritos. Sirloin steak burritos are back, but only for a limited time. Olay the Day at Taco John's.
At Medicap Pharmacy, we concentrate on nothing but your medications and your health. Each location is a locally owned, full-service neighborhood pharmacy. We won't make you walk through aisles and aisles of stuff or wait in a long line. Instead, we'll always make time for you by listening, answering your questions, and explaining your prescriptions.
Medicap Pharmacy, we'll always make time for you.
Medicap Pharmacy, 1947 Bluegrass Circle, next to Texas Roadhouse in Cheyenne. Or call 635-3712.
Right now it's time to head over to Jolly Rogers RV Sales, Parts, and Service for low prices on outstanding RVs in Wyoming. Your local, exclusive Jayco dealer wants you to check out their closeout deals as well as their 2019 inventory of trailers, fifth wheels, and toy haulers. You can save up to 30% on select models with approved credit. You can find them at 6102 East Highway 30. Jolly Rogers RV Sales, Parts, and Service is a proud sponsor of LCCC men's and women's basketball, also our local high school teams too.
1480 KRAE is your home for live play-by-play coverage of high school basketball and football. Hi, this is Nick Brody inviting you to hear all the play-by-play calls of East, Central, and South football and basketball. You'll hear the conference action along with the postseason, and during the basketball season, 1480 KRAE features both boys and girls games. Catch all the exciting calls on AM 1480 KRAE, also streaming the games worldwide on the web at 1480KRAE.com.
First Tier Bank strives to remain competitive and offers some of the best CD rates in the community, as well as area banks and credit unions per Rate Watch reports. How does that make a difference to you? First Tier Bank can assist you in securing some of the best rates on CDs. First Tier Bank offers the personalized customer service you've grown accustomed to and deserve. Plus, feel confident that your finances are taken care of by a responsible, knowledgeable staff. Call 307-632-3500 and ask for Caitlin or Debbie. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Taco John's presents Olay the Day Pep Talks.
Human history has shown anything is possible with inspiration and hard work. The 4-minute mile, a man on the moon, a water skiing squirrel, and now sirloin steak burritos from Taco John's.
Sirloin steak burritos are back at Taco John's. Stuffed with hand-carved sirloin steak and bold flavors like the melty, savory grilled cheese steak burrito, plus steak and shrimp or steak and potato olays. And for the morning, 2 steak and egg breakfast burritos. Sirloin steak burritos are back, but only for a limited time. Olay the Day at Taco John's.
Check out the huge savings this week at Town & Country Supermarket Liquors. Here are just a few of the terrific weekly specials. Our Super Radio buys heard only right here feature Admiral Nelson Spiced, Cherry Spiced, or Coconut Spiced Rum. 750 milliliter bottle, $5.99. Bud Light Lime or Orange 12-pack, 12-ounce cans, $14.99. And Seagram's Extra Dry Gin, 1.75-liter bottle, $16.99. Town & Country Supermarket Liquors on the South Greeley Highway, Cheyenne's low-price leader.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 KRAE.
For today, it will be sunny with a chance of thunderstorms this afternoon with highs around 75. For tonight, it'll be cloudy with rain showers likely with lows around 46. On Friday, it'll be mostly cloudy with rain showers likely with highs around 61. And on Friday night, it'll be cloudy with rain showers likely with lows around 39.
This is 1480 KRAE Cheyenne.
Also being heard on translator K266CC Cheyenne at 101.1 FM.
What you are about to hear is a sports talk radio show unlike any other that has ever before been broadcast in the capital city of Cheyenne, Wyoming, USA. This is Cheyenne, Wyoming's Sports Talk Authority. The Wyoming Cowboys, the Denver Broncos, the Colorado Rockies, and the Denver Nuggets. The show is local, it's regional, and yes, the show is national as well. Wyoming Sports Talk Today is on the air. If they're talking sports on the radio in Cheyenne, this is the place it happens. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today.
It is hour number 2 of Wyoming Sports Talk Today, being brought to you by Mondello's Pizzeria. Paisan cuisine at its best. 7 days a week. Check out Joe's Place over 1507 Stillwater Avenue, Suite D in the Greenway Commons. First Tier Bank directly across the street at 1508 Stillwater Avenue, open Monday through Friday. Lennox Auto Body, the main auto and truck repair center over on Dunn Avenue, the Auto Glass and Detail Center on Pershing Boulevard, serving our community for a quarter century. Medicap Pharmacy, same location as always. Yes, they've been there for many, many years on Bluegrass Circle next door to Texas Roadhouse, open Monday through Saturday. Platte Valley Bank, open Monday through Friday. 2 banking locations. The Northsiders, you can check them out as always on Vanda High. Eastsiders, how about right there at the corner of College and Pershing, Platte Valley Bank ×2. Key of Cheyenne on Nation Way. This is the time of year you definitely want to test drive a 2019. That's right. We're right at mid-year, and you are going to see some wheeling and dealing. And again, the Kia family is on display at Kia of Cheyenne over on Nation Way. Chick-fil-A at the corner of Windmill and Delrange across from Powers Field, and of course right across from Menards. This is the time to load up. Baseball season is here. Grab some eats, and they got some new treats for you over at Chick-fil-A for a limited time only. We're talking beverages and eats. So see what Ray and Cindy are offering on the menu over at Chick-fil-A, open Monday through Saturday for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Which also, too, regarding Chick-fil-A for today, at least for the remaining hours that they are open today. Again, as it is their at least special day, as they are hosting at least a nice little fundraiser for the Cheyenne Mustangs. 10 to 15% of all at least proceeds, if you do mention that you are there to donate for the Cheyenne Mustangs by purchasing any at least food, beverage, treat there at Chick-fil-A. Again, they will donate in honor of the Cheyenne Mustangs as they're doing a little fundraising for the team only today.
Again, corner of Windmill and Delrange, Chick-fil-A. We also want to thank Jolly Rogers RV Sales and Service over on Highway 30. Again, your exclusive home for Jayco RVs, fifth wheels, and travel trailers. And again, the gang over there at Jolly Rogers, they are, I'm telling you, they are the best wheelers and dealers around. Again, they've got great prices, and they have some great financing packages in place. Check them out. Jolly Rogers RV Sales and Service. And we want to thank Taco John's of Cheyenne. Again, South Greeley Highway is being rebuilt, but they got the food truck out there right now. Yes, they got the Taco John's food truck, so you can, Southsiders, enjoy delicious Taco John's cuisine. Taco John's of Cheyenne. We get things underway with our scoreboard. It's brought to you by Pepsi of Cheyenne.
Local baseball from earlier this morning here in town with Cheyenne Mustangs as they are competing right now in the Northern Colorado Border War, again at Powers Field. Today, this early morning at 8 a.m., they took on Fort Collins High and won that contest 12-2. So with today's victory, they are 11-14 overall. They will have one game coming up tomorrow against Pooter. That will also too take place at Powers Field at least tentative schedule 8 a.m. And we'll talk more about that here in a few short minutes with manager Sheldon Baxter of the Cheyenne Mustangs. Cheyenne Post 6 Sixers, they're in action as well, too. Earlier this morning at 7 a.m., they got up bright and early in Omaha, Nebraska to take on the Bryant, Arkansas team, where unfortunately in a walk-off fashion, Bryant, Arkansas won that contest 2-1. So for the lone contest today, the lone loss for Cheyenne Post 6, it puts them at 28-12 overall. Tomorrow they will see Creighton Prep there in Omaha, Nebraska. And also, too, at least looking at other baseball notes, College World Series still going underway. Elimination game for today at 7 o'clock. You can see this on ESPN2. Elimination game between Mississippi State and Louisville. Winner moves on to take on Vanderbilt in bracket number 2.
Let's talk Major League Baseball. They have moved to the bottom of the sixth inning. Rockies were enjoying a 3-1 lead. It's now knotted up as the bullpen has come into play for the Rocks. Oh, no. It's tied 3-3, bottom of the sixth between the Rocks and the Diamondbacks at Chase at a matinee performance. Final score from earlier today at Globe Life, it was the Rangers in Arlington defeating the Indians 4-2. Game's getting underway when we get out of here at 5 o'clock. It will be the Astros and the Yankees in the Bronx. Phillies Nationals at Nats Park. Angels Blue Jays in the Rogers Center. Marlins Cardinals at Busch. It will be the Reds and the Brewers in the 6 o'clock hour at Miller Park. 6:05, Mets and the Cubs at Wrigley. Twins Royals in Kauffman Stadium. 8 o'clock games on the left coast. It will be the Rays and the Athletics in the Coliseum. Giants Dodgers tonight at Dodger Stadium. Maybe the last time we see Mad Bump?
I doubt it.
Okay.
He's not going to be a Dodger.
He's not going to be a Giant for much longer, right?
we'll see what happens with that front.
All right, anyway, it'll be Giants-Dodgers tonight at Chavez Ravine. Orioles-M's at T-Mobile Park. Our scoreboard brought to you by Pepsi of Cheyenne.
Yo, this is your cup holder talking. You know me, the little round thing between your car seats. Now, listen, we need to talk. Now, I normally have a nice cold bottle of Mountain Dew in me, but at the moment, I'm empty. That's right, no Mountain Dew. Nothing in here but a couple of quarters and a dime. A fully capable cup holder like me just carrying your loose change, it's embarrassing. Look, I'm not made for loose change. I'm round like a bottle of Mountain Dew. Glistening, cold, and delicious. I'm made to keep Mountain Dew within reach at all times, so you're never far from that incredible bold citrus kick whenever you need it. Just inches from your hand. So find the store already, grab some Dew, toss it back, then place that bottle where it belongs, and put that loose change back in your pocket. Mountain Dew. Do the do.
Hop into the KRAE Time Machine each Monday through Thursday for the golden age of radio, featuring famous radio classics such as Jack Armstrong and Suspense Theater, along with pioneers in the entertainment industry like Bob Hope and Abbott and Costello, along with many other performers who've captured our ears many, many years ago. Join us for the golden age of radio Monday through Thursday, 8 until 10 p.m. on 1480 KRAE, also 101.1 FM, and you can also stream all of our programming on 1480krae.com.
Join us for a free celebration of summer at the Community Recs and Events Super Day 2019. Saturday, June 22nd from 10 a.m. till 4 p.m. Sponsored by Holly Frontier. Visit food trucks and vendors. Get soaked in a squirt gun fight. Bounce through inflatables or test your hand at kids' carnival rides. A fun, outdoor event for the whole family. Now located in North Lions Park. Don't forget the free concerts in the amphitheater, Joe Sjogren Shanghai, and Larger Than Life March 4th. Visit CheyenneRec.org for more details.
We are the key to your cleaning success. The Key People that provides affordable office and professional cleaning services for over 40 years with exceptional customer care. All of our contractors have background checks and are licensed and bonded. We guarantee you a safe and secure service that is tailored to your individual and business needs. The Key People do not impose year-long contracts, and all quotes are free, confidential, and personalized. Call the Key People at 1-800-468-8283. That's 1-800-468-8283.
Right now it's time to head over to Jolly Rogers RV Sales, Parts, and Service for low prices on outstanding RVs in Wyoming. Your local, exclusive Jayco dealer wants you to check out their closeout deals as well as their 2019 inventory of trailers, fifth wheels, and toy haulers. You can save up to 30% on select models with approved credit. You can find them at 6102 East Highway 30. Jolly Rogers RV Sales, Parts, and Service is a proud sponsor of LCCC men's and women's basketball, also our local high school teams too.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 KRAE.
For today, it will be sunny with a chance of thunderstorms this afternoon with highs around 75. For tonight, it'll be cloudy with rain showers likely with lows around 46. On Friday, it'll be mostly cloudy with rain showers likely with highs around 61. And on Friday night, it'll be cloudy with rain showers likely with lows around 39.
Got something to say? Then get it off your chest right now. Phone lines are open at 307-514-1071. Make your opinion count and call the show. Wyoming Sports Talk today.
Well, we had an opportunity to drag him away from Powers Field, where his team is participating in this weekend's tournament. We'll get to that in a little bit. We're talking with Sheldon Baxter, the skipper of the Cheyenne Mustangs. And, Coach, always a pleasure to have you come on back and talk with us. Let's talk about last weekend. Matter of fact, we had Ryan in here who was talking about pitching and how much he enjoys it. And matter of fact, he got
the victory.
He enjoyed it so much he actually won a game for you again. So let's talk a little bit about your ball club and what you saw positives last week. Correct me if I'm wrong, a split last weekend, right?
Correct. Yeah, it started out good. I mean, what can you say? Ryan did it again. He went out there, threw a really good game for us, gave us a chance to win. Our offense did just enough for him, scored enough runs, and he's going to do what he does. He's going to go at hitters. He's going to shut the other team down most of the time. Second game, we split. We lost that one, but it was definitely a growing experience for us because we lost 4-3 in extra innings, and we've played in a bunch of blowout games this year. So we're not quite sure how we would handle that situation late in the game, those close games, and where one little mistake or one hit here or there can really change the outcome of the game. So it didn't go our way, but we definitely learned from that. and it's going to be a growing experience for us, and now we'll be able to handle that next time it happens.
Looking at that game one where I was able to at least make it out to Powers Field, watch that again, watch Ryan's at least performance against that Denver North team, where he, at least for the Mustangs, won that contest 9-2. Interesting, at least something that I saw where you came out to the mound at least late in that game where Ryan, it looked like, was running into a little issue, but it wasn't anything that was anything major, but at least decided to take the ball out of his hand, so to speak, and go to at least kind of reliever in that game. Saw a little, at least, frustration on Ryan's face. Obviously, this guy who's coming off a perfect game and just doing wonders for the Mustangs. But just kind of talk about the decision there where, or at least what was the thought process of taking Ryan off the mound in that contest?
Ryan's a competitor. He always wants to finish what he starts. He's never going to ask me to take him out of a game. But the thing, he ran out of pitches. We have a pitch count for these guys. We don't want them to go out there and throw 120 pitches every game. We want to kind of monitor them so that they're staying healthy for their career. And he just ran out of pitches. That was the only reason we took him out.
The thing about Ryan, as we introduced our audience to him last week, and you could hear it in his voice, also the mechanics that he has learned, and as you mentioned, he's a competitor. You have to like just his overall leadership. When he's on the hill, and he must have some leadership in the dugout as well.
Absolutely. Like I said, he's a competitor in the same way you guys see him play out on the field and how he's just locked in and fully there. He's the same way in practice. He has that same attitude.
And again, you've been through the high school ranks. Have you seen players like him before? I mean, does he remind you of anybody in particular in the years that you've been coaching?
He's one of the more intense guys that I've seen, actually, as far as coaching-wise. I've played with some guys that are like that, but as far as coaching in the last few years, at least, he's definitely one of the most locked in and competitive guys that I've been around.
Is he one of the easier guys to coach?
Absolutely. That's part of that, is being a competitor, is being able to take coaching and not thinking you're better than everybody else, to where you can just take coaching and try and get better, continue to get better.
Is he almost like and I don't mean to interrupt you, Nick, is he almost like a pitching coach as well for you on the field? Because with that leadership ability that he has, again, learns to listen to what the coaches say. Does he have that opportunity to pass along your guys' direction down to the younger guys?
Absolutely. Anytime we're out there practice, we have our guys throw flat grounds, and everybody knows that he's probably our best pitcher. So they know that he kind of has a feel for what he's doing out there. So if he wants to try and critique him a little bit, they know that he knows what he's doing, and he can take that advice and make them better as well.
Well, again, in our conversations with Ryan, at least in the interview, again, the guy is humble, he is a competitor, he is hungry, and again, he is committed to this Mustangs team. Again, a Laramie product, traveling over to Cheyenne to play for the Cheyenne Mustangs. So again, best of luck to him, and again, it just continues of wonders for the Mustangs. But Friday, doubleheader action against Denver North here in town at Powers Field. Saturday, you were at least anticipated to have games, but just give us a little rundown of what happened. I do believe a team out of at least northern Denver, at least the Thornton area, I do believe, but at least 2 games canceled on Saturday. Was it weather? Was it the team just couldn't make it up to Cheyenne? What was kind of the reasoning of the cancellation?
They let us know late that they just didn't have enough players. They couldn't get enough players to come down. It's unfortunate because the weather was good enough to play, and we've had a bunch of games get rained out and canceled and trying to move games around, and our schedule is so tight at the back end that we don't have really room to make these games up. So it was just unfortunate that they couldn't get enough players to come up here.
When you run into a situation like that this past Saturday, you as a manager and talking with the board of the Mustangs or talking with Reed, kind of getting together, trying to figure out, well, this team canceled on us. We can't afford to miss any games, and practice only does us so much good. I mean, is there options? Is there a way to scramble and find a team that is, not booked at this point in time at least of the year?
When it's canceled like that, there's really everybody's playing, so it's really, really tough to get those games made up on a day's notice.
So when you have a situation, as Nick is alluding to, besides turning it into a full-fledged practice, do you try to turn it into a scrimmage game against each other? I mean, I know it's not the same, but you only can practice so many times.
Yeah, that's what we did last week. We had like a little mini scrimmage between ourselves to get some of those pitchers that were supposed to throw that day that got canceled on. We let them throw in a practice, get them some live hitters, and make sure they're still fresh.
And again, it is what it is, Coach, and this being your first season running the Mustangs, but you have to say inside here that it's a little frustrating when you lose a couple of games because of lack of players or of the weather, because you're not going to get them made up.
For sure, it's tough, but it is what it is. You just got to battle it, keep fighting.
Now, something that we talked with Ty Lane, manager of Cheyenne Post 6, where he's been, at least in this area, he's, as a player and also too as a manager for this team, knows the weather, the area, the fields pretty well. You coming from Florida, where baseball's kind of looked at a different way, at least a little bit higher probably here than the state of Wyoming. But, playing on Powers Field, being around these parks, whether it's through the Front Range, Pioneer, Powers, what's kind of your assessment of our fields, where we talked with Ty of where his suggestion was, maybe get some more carpeting in the outfield or at least down the sidelines there at Powers Field and work a few areas on Pioneer. But what's kind of your assessment of the fields here in Cheyenne?
I'm very pleased with the fields. It's always nice to play on turf. Pitchers love throwing on turf because there's a lot more ground balls that get fielded, and there's just a better surface to play on as far as the infield goes.
Would you prefer, and this is what we brought up to Ty as well, would you prefer the outfield as well to be turf, make the whole thing all-weather turf?
Yeah, I feel like if the infield's turf, I think the outfield should be turf as well.
Absolutely, I agree.
Hopefully the city could get on that, but again, I highly doubt it. But
we're trying our best, Coach.
We're trying to fight. We're trying to fight for.
We're
both.
trying to flush some cash out of them. They got monies. Trust me.
As we focus again, as Mustangs are in action at Powers Field this week and competing in the Northern Colorado border war, nice little bragging rights between the state of Wyoming, or at least with the Cheyenne Mustangs, and teams coming up from at least Colorado, for instance. Again, Fort Collins High, a team that you defeated earlier this morning, 12-2. You'll see Pooter High School, a team you've seen before. We'll see Fort Collins High once again in Thunder Academy before you get into bracket play on Sunday here in town. But, just give us a little insight on this Northern Colorado, at least tournament border war. I mean, just give us your opinion, your thoughts on what this means for the Cheyenne Mustangs, especially being able to host a tournament like this.
Absolutely. I think it's going to be a really good experience for our guys to get some teams from outside this area of Wyoming. So I'm just hoping we can play well enough to make it to Sunday, give us a chance to get that championship.
Interesting that you had the early contest today, and again, if I didn't know any better, I thought we were doing the 36-hour marathon softball tournament. But again, you're asking your young men, and again, it's summertime, and hey, we want to sleep in a little bit, but I mean, you asked them to come to the ballpark early, but they did deliver for you today.
Yeah, it's tough. I'm always nervous when we have an 8 a.m. game, no matter what state I'm in. It's always a struggle, that 8 a.m. game, because you wake up and usually your swing is not ready to go that early in the morning. But they did a great job getting down to the field, getting in the cage, get some swing, so they were ready to go for the game today.
How much worry is it as a coach as we look at you had an 8 a.m. game, at least victorious today, for tomorrow? At least this is according to Game Changer, so again, going off these times, so hopefully they're not incorrect. But tomorrow, seeing that Pooter team, 8 a.m. as well on Friday, lone contest, though, tomorrow. And then Saturday, you'll come back out at least early in the morning, 9 a.m., Is there any worry as a coach where you're talking about at least for one contest, but now back-to-back days where you're getting those players up early and ready for these contests? Is there any issue, worry as it kind of moves on in day length time?
No, I think the more days that we do it, the better we'll be. The first day is always usually the roughest, so I think we'll be definitely locked in, ready to go tomorrow morning.
Is this better for, and again, there's any time to play baseball, especially when you're a teen, is a great time to play ball, but is the mornings a little better for the guys to play, where they get stretched out and then they have a little bit of heel time maybe in the afternoon, to whether they go swimming or go sit in a hot tub, whatever the case may be? Is it better for them to do those early mornings?
I think so, because then they get the rest of the day to kind of do whatever they want and kind of take their mind off of the game, kind of refresh their batteries a little bit.
All right, well, we do need to take a timeout. Sheldon, thank you so much for joining us once again.
Thank you.
As the Mustangs in action again, 8 o'clock tomorrow morning over at Powers Field, so do check out all the action. And again, hopefully you get a chance to come on by and support our local teams. We're going to take a timeout and come back, introduce you to one of our Mustang players after these words right here in 1480 KRAE.
When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think authentic Italian. When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think made fresh from scratch. When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think great pizza, delicious Philly cheesesteak, superb hot and cold Italian sandwiches, meatballs, sausage, and special subs, calzones, crisp salads, and great service. When you say Mondello's Pizzeria, think unmatched Italian taste. Mondello's Pizzeria, 1507 Stillwater Avenue, your only true Italian stop for lunch or dinner.
Summer is just beginning, and it's a great time to plan all your home improvement and remodeling projects. This is Lexi.
And this is Aaron from Platte Valley Bank. A home equity line of credit can help finance summer projects, but can also fund summer fun like a boat, ATV, or even a convertible.
Stop in either Cheyenne location and we'll show you the hidden value in your home with a home equity line of credit from Platte Valley Bank.
Platte Valley Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender. Credit subject to approval. Certain restrictions apply.
Don't move firewood. Firewood can carry insects and diseases that kill trees. Remember to always get firewood as close to your destination as possible. Burn firewood where you buy or gather it. Trees in towns and forests are threatened by native and exotic insects and diseases that can hitch a ride in a load of firewood. Let's keep forests healthy so we can continue to enjoy camping, hiking, hunting, and fishing. Brought to you by the Wyoming State Forestry Division in cooperation with the U.S. Forest Service.
Chick-fil-A is a proud supporter of our high school athletes at East, Central, and South. May the school year bring success to all of you. Before you start your day, stop by Chick-fil-A for a hearty, delicious, and satisfying breakfast. Only at Windmill and Del Range. Breakfast is served Monday through Saturday from 6 in the morning till 10:30 a.m. Breakfast with Chick-fil-A, the most important meal of the day at Windmill and Del Range.
Cheyenne's oldest coin dealer and supplier, the Coin Shop, is proud to serve the community since 1982. Trade or sell your gold, silver, and other precious metals. Visit with David and the knowledgeable staff for a fair and honest assessment of your valuables. Located at 510 West Lincoln Way. Call them today at 778-7196 to schedule your personal consultation.
First Tier Bank strives to remain competitive and offers some of the best CD rates in the community, as well as area banks and credit unions per Rate Watch reports. How does that make a difference to you? First Tier Bank can assist you in securing some of the best rates on CDs. First Tier Bank offers the personalized customer service you've grown accustomed to and deserve. Plus, feel confident that your finances are taken care of by a responsible, knowledgeable staff. Call 307-632-3500 and ask for Caitlin or Debbie. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
For almost 60 years, 1480 KRAE has been Cheyenne's home for good times and great oldies. Add to that live play-by-play sports featuring high school football and basketball, along with LCCC men's and women's basketball. Now combo that with KYOY FM and you have Cheyenne and the area's only locally owned AM and FM radio stations. But we don't stop there. We also have 2 FM translators which serve the area with programming from both KRAE and KYOY. And that equals a lot of bang for your advertising dollar. Radio yesterday and now today, along with our websites, web streams, and digital ventures, makes us your one-stop shop. For more information, please call Don Morris at 307-637-0301.
You bleed brown and gold? So do we. Wyoming Cowboys football and basketball is always front and center on this show. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today, and it's here on AM 1480, KRAE.
Well, the fun part of our gig here on Wyoming Sports Talk Today is we get to introduce our listening audience to our local players. And we introduce you now to Luke Moore, who is going to be a sophomore.
We got a little curveball. At least we had one player that was supposed to join us today. One CJ, unfortunately, could not at least join us at least here in studio. So again, we at least Sheldon went to the bullpen and got Luke in.
Grab the right-hander, right? Are you a southpaw? All right. So anyway, Luke Moore joins us, and again, sophomore next year or next school season at Cheyenne. So again, you're playing with the Mustangs this year. Is this your first season with the Mustangs?
No, I actually played on the younger teams for the past 3 years.
Okay, so you're up on the varsity this season. What positions do you play?
I play in the outfield. I pitch, and I play first.
So an all-utility player for the Cheyenne Mustangs. As you talk about being a part of this organization, playing kind of with the younger teams last year, moving up to the varsity and getting some quality time right now for the Mustangs, any noticeable at least difference for you between last year and this year being a part of this kind of varsity squad?
Yeah. The coaching is a lot better, and the kids are really good.
And again, too, you look at the visiting teams that you play, and again, you're seeing a lot of number ones and number twos thrown at you. So I would venture to say you're seeing a lot faster fast balls and breaking balls that are a little more intense than you saw in your younger days, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm kind of used to it because we used to go down to Colorado and play in a lot of tournaments down there.
So at least have that knowledge and, again, the expertise, so to speak, to at least be prepared for the varsity experience. So at least talk about at least being a part of this Mustangs organization. How long have you been playing baseball? I'm assuming from T-ball. I mean, have you been playing it probably majority of your life at this point?
Yeah, since T-ball, I've been mostly playing.
I was going to say, you mentioned that you're an outfielder, first baseman, pitcher. Which is your preferential position?
I would love to play first. I love to play it, but I also like playing in the outfield too.
Now, as we look at least getting that information, want to be in a first baseman, anyone in the majors you kind of look to and maybe get little skills, or maybe you kind of look up to? Is there any first baseman up in the majors right now that you kind of look at and go, I want to be like you, maybe?
No, not necessarily any certain first baseman.
Do you have a favorite team?
Yes, the New York Yankees.
Ooh, he likes the pinstriper.
So out of the post-six Sixers, I think you're the first Yankee that we've had in studio.
Yeah, that's the first Yankee, yeah. So, all right, anyway, we're talking with Luke Moore. Luke, as you get a break from school right now and you get that opportunity to focus on baseball, and you mentioned you really like the coaching at this level. Things that you, as you know right now, in all the games that you've played with the Mustangs, things that you need to work on, and the coaches have come up to you and said, hey, we need you to do this?
Well, we've been working on a lot of mechanics for pitching right now, and I'm hoping to get a lot better at that so I can start for us and give us quality starts.
So when you say mechanics, are you talking about, and again, I'm a former pitcher, so what does that entail? A better pickoff move to first base? Do you need to stretch a little better? What type of mechanics are you talking about?
So timing with my arm, getting it down the same time that my front foot gets down, so that I don't release the ball too high.
Right.
Something that we talked with Coach, at least alluded in the earlier interview with him, and I'll ask you this, Luke, of where, we know what Ryan's about, at least your teammate there on the Cheyenne Mustangs again, where he's kind of developing himself into kind of a phenomenal product, but also, too, could be a veteran kind of leader for the rest of this Mustangs team. Is he, in your opinion as a player, is he someone that you can kind of look up to, or at least talk with to get kind of mechanics worked down, or at least get some tips from him, especially as a teammate?
Yeah, for sure. He's a great leader on the team. He's probably our best pitcher, and, I just look up to him as a teammate and a friend when I need help.
I look back to last season where the varsity had a lot of guys where they all graduated and had a very good year. You guys now under Coach Baxter are starting to put it together one by one, one game at a time. Tell me a little bit here as you look down as we get into the summer now, officially tomorrow, summertime. What's the team's hopes? What are you looking for? Obviously, you want to win championships at tournaments, and you want to be moving on to that next level after the season is over. But what is the ultimate goal for this team?
For being super young, I think our goal is to progress and get better through the year and hopefully become what the team last year became by our senior years.
Are you seeing that right now with this team?
Yeah, we're progressing quite a bit from the beginning of the year.
Moving away from the team aspects, or at least kind of goals, but for yourself heading into this season, first year being on a varsity role, at least with the Mustangs, did you have any goals for yourself for this season?
Just to get better and hopefully become what those players did and go off to college and hopefully play.
Now, as we talk, you're really at least early into your high school career, so you got plenty of time to figure out what you want to do post-Cheyenne, post-graduation. But have you taken a step and thought about what you want to do, maybe continue kind of the baseball career? Have you kind of thought about that at this point in
time? No, but I just hope that I could get a scholarship for either hockey or baseball.
And we want to talk about it.
Yeah, I was glad you mentioned hockey because, again, you're a dual sport athlete. You play for the Capitals as well as playing for the Mustangs. So you really go from one sport right into the other. I mean, you're busy all winter, spring, summer, and fall long, aren't you?
Yeah. It's quite a bit of fun. I have a little bit of time off between, January and March, let's say, where it starts to die down a little.
Get a chance to kind of rest the legs a bit. Talk about play with the Capitals. What position do you play right now for them?
I could play offense or defense, but mainly I play defense.
Okay, so a specialty out there. So at least dual sporting right now with hockey, at least with the Capitals and the Cheyenne Mustangs, sophomore with Cheyenne East. Do you have any aspirations to kind of add more sports to the at least repertoire with you, Luca, whether, again, at Cheyenne East, football, basketball? Has that kind of been on your mind yet?
No, not really.
Just kind of focusing
Just
on the
focus on baseball and hockey. Huh?
Yeah.
All right, well, hey, Luke, we want to thank you so much for joining us. I know you probably a little wiped out after that early game this morning, and you got to do it again tomorrow morning. So we do appreciate Luke Moore joining us again. Thank you to Coach Sheldon Baxter of the Cheyenne Mustangs for joining us here on Wyoming Sports Talk today. Take a time out. We'll come back with more after these words.
Capital Lumber is lumber one in Cheyenne. Are you listening? We're all the lumber store you'll ever need. For electrical, plumbing, paint, and tools, lumber and hardware, we're for you. And we're out to earn your business, yes indeed. Capital Lumber is lumber one today. Are you listening? Capital Lumber's at your service all the way.
Capital Lumber Company, serving our area for over 53 years at 1222 Dunn Avenue in Cheyenne.
Are you looking for a pharmacist who will actually take the time to talk to you? Then come to Medicap Pharmacy. We're dedicated to healthcare only, which means we'll fill your prescription quickly, and then we'll make time to listen, answer your questions, explain your prescriptions, and tell you about possible drug interactions.
Medicap Pharmacy will always make time for you.
Medicap Pharmacy, 1947 Bluegrass Circle, next to Texas Roadhouse in Cheyenne. Or call 635-3712.
Join us for a free celebration of summer at the Community Recs and Events Super Day 2019. Saturday, June 22nd from 10 a.m. till 4 p.m. Sponsored by Holly Frontier. Visit food trucks and vendors. Get soaked in a squirt gun fight. Bounce through inflatables or test your hand at kids' carnival rides. A fun, outdoor event for the whole family. Now located in North Lions Park. Don't forget the free concerts in the amphitheater, Joe Sjogren Shanghai, and Larger Than Life March 4th. Visit CheyenneRec.org for more details.
We are the key to your cleaning success. The Key People that provides affordable office and professional cleaning services for over 40 years with exceptional customer care. All of our contractors have background checks and are licensed and bonded. We guarantee you a safe and secure service that is tailored to your individual and business needs. The Key People do not impose year-long contracts, and all quotes are free, confidential, and personalized. Call the Key People at 1-800-468-8283. That's 1-800-468-8283.
Right now it's time to head over to Jolly Rogers RV Sales, Parts, and Service for low prices on outstanding RVs in Wyoming. Your local, exclusive Jayco dealer wants you to check out their closeout deals as well as their 2019 inventory of trailers, fifth wheels, and toy haulers. You can save up to 30% on select models with approved credit. You can find them at 6102 East Highway 30. Jolly Rogers RV Sales, Parts, and Service is a proud sponsor of LCCC men's and women's basketball, also our local high school teams too.
If it happens on the diamond, the hardwood, the field, or even the ice, we'll talk about it on Wyoming Sports Talk today. Hi, this is Nick Peretti inviting you to join Larry Peretti and myself each weekday from 3 to 5 p.m. as we, along with our special guests, talk sports locally, regionally, and nationally. And you can chat with us too at 307-514-1071. It's Wyoming Sports Talk today, only on 1480 KRAE, and you can stream live with us at 1480krae.com.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 KRAE.
For today, it'll be sunny with a chance of thunderstorms this afternoon with highs around 75. For tonight, it'll be cloudy with rain showers likely with lows around 46. On Friday, it'll be mostly cloudy with rain showers likely with highs around 61. And on Friday night, it'll be cloudy with rain showers likely with lows around 39.
We're taking Cheyenne, Wyoming Sports Talk Radio to a whole new level. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today.
Don't look at me. I think these people are completely nuts.
Stop this crazy thing! And it's only here on AM 1480 KRAE.
Well, I'm going to go on a limb here and say that the war rooms, the draft rooms, are all ready in anticipation of draft night.
Well, we've already had a trade before the at least before the NBA draft.
We've got 2 trades, it looks like.
Well, one that just came of recent, where we knew that New Orleans did have the number 4 pick from Los Angeles Lakers. This is coming at least very recent, about 7 minutes ago, that the Atlanta Hawks have acquired the number 4 pick in Thursday's NBA draft from the Pelicans. Again, the Pelicans who got that draft pick from the Lakers in the Anthony Davis trade. The Pelicans sending off that number 4 pick to the Atlanta Hawks. Also, too, they will send Solomon Hill, the at least number 57 pick, and a future second-round pick to Atlanta. In exchange, the Pelicans will receive the number 8, 17, and 35 picks this year.
Yeah, think about that, too. Atlanta, prior to that trade, because they did a trade with the Golden State Warriors earlier. So Atlanta had, in the first round, 8, 10, 17, and the 35th pick.
So New Orleans right now could do a lot of damage.
A team that is talking about serious about rebuilding and
they're committed. I think for New Orleans, this is a team where I said when the Anthony Davis trade happened that this is a team that is committed to winning, not now necessarily, but in the future, in developing a lot of these young talent. If they are to pick up Zion, which I would believe that they're going to do at number 1, again with Lonzo Ball, with Ingram, were two talents that are coming from the Lakers that have high praises in at least hearing from some of the kind of talking heads around NBA, players that do have potential. They just need to grow and develop a little bit more under a system, and I think at least head coach Alvin Gentry has that ability to do that, to kind of mold these young players. But right now, New Orleans may not win the next couple of seasons, but years down the line, this could be a scary team.
They are going to make their mark in the NBA, and they're going to grow up. Once they get a couple of birthdays, they're going to be some tough customers. So it's interesting, too. So you have Atlanta that is making most of the noise right now in the pre-draft because Golden State acquired Atlanta's number 41 pick. So obviously we move into the second round.
Yeah.
The cost was $1.3 million and a 2024 second-round pick. Atlanta moved number 44 to Miami yesterday. And again, prior to the New Orleans trade, they had actually 3 first-round picks and then an early second-rounder. So Golden State now, with that move earlier today, they have the number 28 pick, because then they are, down on the food chain because of their finish in the NBA this season, and then they'll have an early second round at 41, and then a late second round at number 58. So there's more draft choices going back and forth.
Yeah, and again, as we have movement in the top 5 there with the Atlanta Hawks moving into number 4, where we'll see what they decide on.
Well, they're eyeing Hunter right now.
That's again, the product out of Virginia, we'll see if that happens. But at least looking at the top 10, we did have other movement as well happening, especially of recent too, with the Minnesota Timberwolves, who acquired the 6th pick, at least 6th pick in tonight's draft for the 11th selection. So again, just moving up a little bit for the Minnesota Timberwolves. They get that, and also to send away Dario Saric. I do believe that's how you say that name, but again, not a big loss for the Minnesota Timberwolves. So again, Timberwolves trying to move up. Projections right now for them is Texas Tech shooting guard Jarrett Culver at that number 6 potential. So Minnesota trying to be aggressive, just moving up 5 spots to get in that top 10.
And Phoenix traded T.J. Warren and the number 32 pick, so that would be the early second round. They traded to the Indiana Pacers. The Pacers will send cash to the Suns. Suns need players. According to a league source, Phoenix wanted to unload the 3 years and $35 million remaining on Warren's deal to create salary cap space.
I think the Suns' issue right now is a team that has been trying to pick high, at least in the draft, and try to develop almost a Golden State route of, let's get some quality players and develop them and be a powerhouse in the Pacific. For the Phoenix Suns, this is a team that is just not really hit well in their draft picks so far. It's a team that has gone nowhere, or at least it doesn't really have the coaching staff, and the players aren't meshing well, that the Suns just aren't a good team right now. And I think for Phoenix, you got to wonder if our draft picks really worth it at this point, where they have not been really that prosperous for the Phoenix Suns.
So, yeah, they want to free up some salary cap money. But, again, ownership in Phoenix has not been the same since Colangelo left. I mean, this franchise, again, was a very good franchise about a decade ago, maybe even a little longer. But
and again, that's where you had talent. You had Nash out there.
Yeah.
You had, again, a Jay Rich out there. You had big names. You had talent out there that could lead this team.
Right now, again, Westfall running the team back in the day.
But right now, again, where you look back to where this team was a few seasons ago. Again, going heavy on the draft, getting young talent. It was the youngest team at a point, and it still roughly is kind of the youngest team in the NBA. But you had a Booker on the team where, again, this guy was supposed to be the centerpiece around that the Suns could build upon. Hasn't really worked out. Ownership has changed. Head coaching positions have changed. It's a franchise that is probably in worse shape than what we are looking at with the LA Lakers at this point, where this is a team that shows no sign. They're almost on par with the New York Knicks of they're not getting out of the basement anytime soon.
No. New Orleans Pelicans, by the way, have picked up the 2019-20 team option on Jahlil Okafor.
Yeah.
Now, here's a good thing about Okafor. It seems like he's real serious now about playing basketball. And maybe he's liking, and what we were talking about with New Orleans, simply for the fact he's gone to a mostly vegan diet right now. He's already dropped 20 pounds. He did come in a little over the hoof when he started with Philadelphia and pretty much played heavy even with his time with Brooklyn. But it seems like now he's got his head on straight a little bit. I'm not saying that he's going to be, balls of fire, but
he's a good talent.
Now that Davis is gone.
Yeah, he's certainly going to be looked upon, but granted, he's going to get shifted aside to Zion, or at least if he pans out like everyone is expecting Zion to pan out, where he's eventually going to be your 5 for the New Orleans Pelicans, but for the time being to at least develop Zion and not put him out there. And will the Pelicans start Zion or at least rush him out to the court this season upcoming if they do go that route? I don't believe it. I think New Orleans realizes that they are years away, or at least a couple seasons away from being competitive. And why rush? Why hurry? Why risk injury, especially with these bigs, especially fresh out of college, where we've seen a lot of them run into a lot of injuries, a lot of leg issues, a lot of time away from these teams where they don't pan out because they were rushed out too fast to be that darling player to revive a team. I think New Orleans, I would hope, again, without Alvin Gentry, realizes it and kind of slowly builds if they do go the Zion route and give them some time, but there is no necessary reason to put him out there for 40 minutes or at least get him, plenty of minutes right now, at least in his rookie season.
All right, so let's go from NBA to Major League Baseball. First off, the Rockies are in the news. They have placed star shortstop Trevor Story. 10-day injured list with a sprained right thumb. They announced the move before this afternoon's game against the Diamondbacks. They didn't reveal a timetable when he'll return. Story had an MRI today on the thumb as he saw a hand specialist. Pat Valleca, who's hitting maybe a buck. I mean, that's basically his average sucks when he was with the big club. He's going to start at shortstop today, and they also recalled infielder Brendan Rodgers from AAA Albuquerque to replace Story.
It's not a major loss, especially how this offense is rolling right now for the Rockies.
Oh no, it will be a loss. I
think that we again with Story, it is in a certain way a loss, but not a major loss. I at least evaluating the Rockies team and this offense. You got plenty of pieces that could pick up that slack. And especially of how they're playing right now. Again, the offense is not an issue for the Colorado Rockies. Trevor Story, again, it's a loss, but not major. It does not pan out to the point where the Rockies are now without an offensive powerhouse. They're going to be a team without any offense. No, that's not going to happen. But I think right now, Trevor Story being out for the duration that he is, again, 10-day IL, it's not going to be as noticeable as you probably think it will be.
It could really happen at a worse time.
But I think you have enough pieces. Granted, you are in that tough stretch. You will see the Dodgers, Giants eventually. Giants, you should take advantage, but granted, the Giants have been playing pretty well against the Rockies. But I think you have offense that is clicking right now. You have personnel right now that can pick up that slack, and it's not that major of a loss.
Well, just so you know, Valleca, who started today's game, started with an average of .067. He's been to the plate 30 times and has 2 hits and struck out 15 times.
He's on par with the rest of the Rockies.
Yeah, but you know what? You're hitting 67? I don't think so. All right.
Again, when you're desperate, when you don't have any players, or at least that's what you got to go with it. So, again, I don't think it's going to be that noticeable that the Rockies lose Trevor Story for at least a small duration.
And to Vlaka's credit, he has a good glove, so I will give him that. New York Mets, a couple things out of New York, and we'll get to the –
we got to get to the Tampa Bay thing.
Well, can we get to the New York thing?
Well, no, I'm just saying there's plenty to talk about, but the Tampa Bay thing is very interesting.
All right, well, first off, the New York Mets fired this is what you're like. They fired pitching coach Dave Eland and bullpen coach Chuck Hernandez. And they made Phil Regan the interim pitching coach and Ricky Bones the interim bullpen coach. Now, I'm 62 years old.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when Phil Regan pitched in relief for the Chicago Cubs.
All right.
Oh, by the way, Phil Regan is 82 years old. He is the new pitching coach for the New York Mets. He's been the Mets minor league assistant pitching coordinator since 2016 after being the pitching coach for the St. Lucie squad of the Florida State League. Regan, a major leaguer from 1960 through 1972. I was 3 years old when he was pitching in baseball, and he was Sandy Koufax's teammate when he was with the Dodgers in one of his stops.
At least the Mets get some elder, kind of wisdom, I guess, so to speak. Again,
he was good. He was good out of the pen. I will give Phil Regan that. Back in the day,
what this does for the Mets, I have no idea. Again, will this guy be able to teach him mechanics, so to speak? I mean, is he? I would assume he's got to be some sort of mobile, or at least able, to get out there and show some, at least work on mechanics. I really don't know. Again, what is his role?
He'll be on the boat back in my day. Anyway, also out of the Mets, if you did not hear, it was in our local paper as well. They've shut down one Bryce Nimmo. Brandon Nimmo. Bryce. Sorry. Brandon
Nimmo.
He's
been shut down for a month or at least 30 days.
I mean, it's 30 days that they're going to reevaluate him as he had an epidural. Oh, I feel for this guy. Can Brandon go through a season without any type of injury? This one is up in his neck.
This is a growing trend for Brandon, and it's not. Again, it's nothing to knock or try to at least show any disrespect to Brandon, but it is something that the Mets.
He's oft injured.
He is oft injured, and that is something where the Mets have to pause in, when it comes up to contracts or trades, or possibly, as much as I thought that Brandon was going to be on the move from the Mets, where they were just going to kind of cash in again a few seasons ago. You wonder if that's where the Mets mentality, again, a franchise that is trying to get back into some respect, trying to get into the at least competitive in the NL East. They've done it. Granted, they don't really have a whole lot of competition outside of Atlanta and Philadelphia at this point, but for Brandon Nimmo, this is a growing trend for him as a career as a player right now in the MLB, where other teams, I would assume, are going to start looking at it, and including the New York Mets, of saying, is this worth it right now?
He's spending more time on the injured list than he is out.
He has not had one single healthy season yet with this Mets team, and again, it's a shame.
And what he's going through right now has to be awful painful. Again, when you can't even turn your head, and again, if you've ever and I've never had an epidural, but again, you got to.
I don't even know what that is.
The needle's about that big, pal.
Well, again, I'm not injured. So.
You don't want that in your back or in your spine, or as they're putting that shot into your body. So I can't even imagine all of the procedures that are going through right now. But anyway, he's been shut down for the next 30 days. Then he's going to be reevaluated.
Yeah.
So we don't even know.
Yeah, the timetable is definitely out there for Brandon Nimmo, but again,
it's further notice, basically.
It is another just injury that he has to fight through. And again, more time that he's missing from baseball, it is something that's going to, you hate to say it, and again, I'll admit it, it's going to hurt his career down the line, where a lot of these ball clubs, including the one he's with right now with the New York Mets, they're going to probably have to sit down, reevaluate, and go, is he worth it right now?
Well,
is he the player that's going to contribute to this team?
I'm hoping he can play again. We don't even know what the severity is of the injury right now.
Yeah.
All right, you mentioned the Tampa Rays.
This came out about a couple hours ago, and this was approved by Major League Baseball's Executive Council. Tampa Bay Rays at least received permission. In an interesting thing or move right now, and could this be a possibility? It sounds like it is, but it's a strange one, where the Tampa Bay Rays have kind of alluded and announced that they're looking into playing home games in both the Tampa Bay and Montreal area. So, are we
Montreal, Canada?
Yeah, Montreal, Quebec, Canada. Former home of the Montreal Expos, where Montreal has kind of, at least that city is expressed of, hey, we want to play baseball. We want baseball back. We want our Expos back up north there in Canada. So it is nothing set in stone, but they have been at least granted permission, the Rays have, to look into this and if not make it a possibility. Obviously, it's not going to happen this season, but maybe years down the line. But this builds upon a story itself where Tampa Bay, as we talked about in the offseason, are looking at building a brand new, getting out of Tropicana Field, that dump, and building a brand new stadium.
But they haven't done it.
Well,
it's been failed attempts to build this thing.
Well, supposedly it's in the works right now that they're looking into it.
It's been in the works for 10 years. They even showed a diagram back in 2010. This is what the new stadium is going to look like.
I'm just saying the Rays, at least in the offseason, what it looked like, had a lot of confidence that this was going to move forward there in the Tampa Bay area to get the Rays out of Tropicana Field.
Well,
but now with this, so does it kind of push back, or do they kind of go, well, we don't need the new field. We'll stick at Tropicana, split time between, 40.
Montreal,
we'll probably have 41 games here, 40 up in Montreal. It's just, how is this going to work?
This is great, though. I mean, the return to baseball in Montreal, they lost the Expos in 2005, which eventually became the Nationals, the Washington Nationals. But the interesting part, there's a Montreal businessman, Mitch Garber, and he's expressed interest in taking a minority stake in the Rays alongside owner Stuart Sternberg. So they've reached an agreement with the developer on a site in Montreal's Point St. Charles neighborhood to potentially build a new stadium. So not playing Olympic Stadium.
Well, again, that also, too, goes where, at least in this article regarding the Tampa Bay Rays and this move, or at least this plan, under the plan, the Rays would have at least, they would play early season home games down in Tampa Bay, at least Tampa Bay in the area, and then the remainder of the year, it would be up in Montreal, where also, too, again, as this article says that I've been talking about, that both cities, including Tampa Bay, are pursuing and trying to get new stadiums right now. So, and again, it says that the number of home games each city would receive has not been determined. Obviously, this is kind of in the rough sketch area right now, at least rough planning portion to determine this. But, I mean, how is this going to work, though? You already have tough time getting fans out to Tampa Bay, and I think that's the reason why they're looking into this, to go out to Montreal.
I think Montreal will embrace it. Here's the deal.
But I'm just saying, where you're basically saying, hey, Tampa, we're here for a few games, and then we're tuck and tail and going up.
What do they got to lose? They're averaging.
No, I get that.
They're averaging 14,000.
But I'm just saying, for those few season ticket holders, for those few that do attend Tropicana, you're now basically, with this plan, you're now saying, we don't care about you because the rest of the Tampa Bay area did not show up.
Well, what it's telling
and why would you invest in a brand new stadium when
that's what they're telling the people in St. Petersburg and Tampa? Get off your dead butts and get this thing built. Again, the Rays themselves.
Is this a threat then towards Tampa Bay?
Yes.
Of saying, well, we're going to spend half our time up north.
And you know what? They may move the franchise.
I think for Tampa Bay, I think that's the best move they could do.
Well,
I think for both of those, at least South Florida teams, whether it's Tampa or Miami, they are the biggest fickle fans of all time of any fan base across this nation that do not care. They only care when their team is winning. We see that with the Marlins currently. Again, brand new, beautiful stadium. They don't care. Tampa Bay, why even entertain building a brand new stadium?
But here, the Rays are averaging this if I look at the numbers right without a calculator, they're going to draw 1.3 million fans. Back in the day,
that's pathetic.
1.7 was break even before all the TV monies.
Yeah.
They have a current record in the majors, 43-31. That's playoff bound. Right now for the Rays.
Yeah, they're good. They're good, but no one cares.
And their opening day payroll is $65 million. That's among the lowest in baseball.
Yeah.
So are the Rays ownership making money? Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Are the Rays holding the baseball team hostage right now?
I think they are.
Yes. They're telling St. Petersburg, Tampa, you guys have put us on hold. We're not going to take it no more. Oh, by the way, we are going to work out a deal with Montreal. Guess what? 41 games here in Tampa, 41 games in Montreal, and I guarantee you in Montreal, they will outdraw Tampa.
What you're seeing right now with the Tampa Bay Rays and this whole plan developing is something of what we had entertained, or at least a thought, with the Oakland Raiders, where they, at a point in time, weren't expected to play in Oakland this season. They had to figure out if they were going to split time in San Francisco, go down to L.A.
Well, they were talking about Balboa Stadium, if I remember.
But again, there was multiple entities, but they were going to split time home games between different stadiums to at least coincide that, since they couldn't play in the Coliseum in Oakland due to that fiasco. Granted, it got resolved, and they will play their final season this year in the Coliseum there in Oakland. But I think for the Rays, this is perfect. This is a great move by them. And I think for the franchise in general, I think you just take it away from Tampa Bay, from those fans that just don't care, and again, just disrespect that team. And I think you give it to Montreal. Kind of like what the Raiders said of, hey, you're not doing anything for us, city council or whoever's in charge down here in Tampa Bay. Same with the Raiders. Hey, Oakland, you're disrespecting us. Mayor Libby Schaff, you're disrespecting us. We'll go to Las Vegas, where they're hungry. They're going to build us a brand new stadium. Montreal is committed. Montreal has been dying for baseball to come back there since they lost the Expos.
I mean, basically, the Rays told both Tampa and St. Petersburg, go.
I think for the Rays, their best decision, and I hope it does happen, is if they do set up shop and go back to Montreal.
Go to Montreal, yeah. All right, we got to wrap things up. Coming up, we have for you our final night, as it's every Monday through Thursday.